Divesting gone wrong. Murdered prostitute Renia Lewis said no African Americans, please. And she is right. No African Americans were involved in her death.
A 28-year-old Stockton woman robbed of her 29th birthday next week. Her body was found hidden in a Solano County attic this week. Her family hadn't heard from her for days before she was found dead. And today, the man accused of killing the woman and hiding her at his house faced a judge for the first time in this case.
41-year-old Douglas Shaw was arrested Tuesday at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, where he worked. Case Area 3's Danica Hill joining us live outside the Solano County Courthouse right now. So just a horrific story here, Danica, and understandably, just an emotional day in court.
Absolutely, Golston. It was hard to watch this family sit out here and witness all of this. Again, as you described, an emotional day for the family, dozens of them filling that courtroom, all for the arraignment of Douglas Shaw. This was Shaw's first court appearance since he was arrested Tuesday at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, where he worked. Shaw, represented by a public defender, said very few words during the hearing. He's facing one count of felony murder for the death of 28-year-old Renia Lewis. Her family now calling for the maximum punishment.
My hope for him is that he get the death penalty.
Lewis's family tracked her phone to a home in Vallejo after they stopped hearing from her, and that's where police found her body. They say they're still trying to process the fact that she's gone.
Well, at this point, our family is under grievance. We are devastated at this time, and we just ask the public, we ask every person to please keep our family in prayer.
Lewis was just days away from her 29th birthday, her family describing her as a loving person.
Renia is a sweet young lady. It's a lot. And when it comes to our family, everyone knows. What I want you guys to know is Renia was a queen. That's who she was.
And the other message from that family was how united they were. You could see just how many people were there, and that was the message that they wanted to get out. Now, as for Shaw, the judge did set no bail for him, and he is expected to be back in court next Thursday.
She was a prostitute who was arrested in July of 2025 for prostitution, but that did not stop her. A common theme for black prostitutes is for them to request, no African Americans, and these women are not that old. No one wakes up and just becomes a prostitute. They have to learn it from somewhere. All of Renia's friends were prostitutes, so it just confirms that it is indeed other black women grooming each other to walk the streets for free. Yes, that is her and her friend, both prostitutes just having the time of their lives sleeping with broke white men for free. Here is her friend on Instagram who made a post about her saying, "Royalty girl, the first person I lost to this shit." Interesting, so it sounds like this woman taught Renia how to walk the streets. A YouTuber commenter said, fully divested or divestor means fully involved in the life of prostitution. Divested means invested in low-wage sex work. All involving middle-aged to senior white males. I'm starting to decipher their code words bit by bit. You have to ask yourself, why do black women engage in prostitution at such high rates? Let's go back to this article, written in 1984 before most of us were born. Lockett is a black woman who, at that time, had been supporting her family as a sex worker for more than a decade. Sex workers' rights were starting to gain traction, and Lockett was in the thick of this work in San Francisco. In 1982, she met Margot St. James, Carol Lee, and Priscilla Alexander, three white women also mobilizing loudly for sex workers' rights. Together they held Bad Girls rap groups, and formal weekly discussions open to any woman who has ever been stigmatized as bad for her work, color, class, sexuality, history of abuse, or just plain gender. Mobilizing together, they raised vocal, public demand for sex workers' liberation. She was doing sex work for 10 years. Prostitution is not a real job, but let's continue. St. James, with Lockett, Alexander, Lee, and others, established Coyote, Call Off Your Old Tired Ethics, an organization demanding the decriminalization of prostitution. Is sex work supposed to be fun? Notice how it is black women fighting to decriminalize it. Let's go back to another published journal from 1993. It notes, prostitution was no alien thing to black women who have been sexually exploited since slavery. In every southern city in the 1920s and 30s, the red light district was on the other side of the tracks in the black ghetto, and young white boys discovered their manhood with the help of the $2 whore. Prostitutes were integrating blacks and whites long before there was a civil rights movement. Imagine that, Long before Martin Luther King Jr. was begging for integration, black women and white men had already been fully integrated sexually, yet, this is the most important part. Black women's position in society still remains at the very bottom until this day. Black women, outside of white women, have been in contact with white men longer than any other race of women, yet black women are still seen as animals by white men. Let's continue. Here a black prostitute says, "This is who we are, this is what we are for." Many people have said that prostitution is tolerated in the black community. They are wrong. We do not tolerate prostitution. It has been imposed upon us. It has been imposed upon us since the days of slavery, when the master came out to the field and chose whichever black woman he wanted to have sex with. Light-skinned slaves, known as fancy girls, were sold at high prices in the marketplace and later rented out or sold to brothels. Today, middle-class white men from the suburbs drive through the ghettos of America to pick out whichever black women or girls they want to have sex with, as if our cities were their own private plantation. So here is the lack of accountability. Who is forcing black women into prostitution? You have never seen a prostitute, sex worker, or whatever ghetto gagger ever buy a house or a new car with their earnings from sex work. Never. Also notice, white men do not pay top dollar for black prostitutes. The journal pretty much insinuates that black female sex workers are for free for white men. I will say it again, black women do not prostitute for money but, rather, to get wifed by some white man. In a country with a bunch of safety nets, I mean you can practically go to school for free and there are many jobs that are more prone to hiring certain demographics over others, yet black women still want to engage in this foolishness. That just tells you this is all about trying to get attention from white men. This is the only way for black women to do it, but unfortunate for them, the white man does not want to wife them. This is why Renia was found nailed to a wall, behind the attic in an abandoned house. Notice how these divestors, sex workers, which is the same thing, never warn each other about the dangers of divesting. I mean, divestors are right there to take pictures with, to brag and lie about their lives with, but for some reason, they cannot stand behind the door when their divestor friend is being a ghetto gagger to keep them safe. They rather their friend die than make white men look bad, because I believe that black women care more about being a prostitute than a moral person. Prostitution is their only way to get close to bottom shelf bread. Even this divestor on Shoutout's channel said from the time she was 18 years old to 21 years old she had numerous dealings with various white men. How do you rack up that many bodies? Only a prostitute is capable of doing that. But then again, what's the difference between a divestor and a prostitute? You tell me. They have the same mentality and same thought process on how to attract bread. All the links are in the description below.